The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
59 degrees, it's 5:40. Good afternoon, I'm Ashok Bala. Here's what's happening. Spirit Airlines vanishes overnight. All flights canceled, passengers stranded. Other carriers are stepping up to help them. The NYPD is searching for a suspect after a Friday afternoon stabbing in the Bronx on a 6 train platform. A former race car driver who became a Paralympic champion after losing both legs in a crash died last night. A Palestinian boy shot dead in the West Bank by Israeli settlers. Rarely seen works by artist Keith Haring are being featured at an exhibition in Manhattan. The Yanks whoops the Orioles, and tonight near Los Angeles, it's Mets Angels. AccuWeather says sprinkle or two, little rain possible this evening, mainly toward eastern Long Island. Skies will clear up, 45. For Sunday tomorrow, breezy, sun, some clouds, 61. Wins News Time, 5:41. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Patty Bendina.
And here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. The LIE westbound stop and go from Glen Cove Road over to the Queens border. The Northern State westbound, that's a slow go from Searington Road over to Lakeville. And the Southern State westbound has some heavy volume between the Meadowbrook and Peninsula Boulevard. And here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. The George inbound, about 30 minutes to the upper level, 20 to the lower. Outbound, you're going to find this cross Bronx delay starting right around White Plains Road and then the Bronx River Parkway. Backed up from East Ford and down towards the Cross Bronx. The Major D Gate and the Harlem River Drive northbound, that starts to slow right around 145th Street, all towards the Cross Bronx. And then the Lincoln Tunnel is about 30 minutes as you make your way into New York, into New Jersey, only about 10. The Holland Tunnel is 20 minutes in, 10 out, and still seeing heavy trouble at the Goethals Bridge eastbound. That is very solid. Onto the Staten Island Expressway over towards Richmond Ave. Patty Bendina, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
A lot of yellow planes are going to need some new paints. The Spirit is gone. The low-budget airline disappearing overnight with all flights canceled. The ultra-low-cost carrier had been looking for a $500 million bailout from the Trump administration. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy breaks down options for stranded travelers.
American Airlines and Delta Airlines are offering across the board reduced fares on high-volume Spirit routes. Allegiant is stepping up. They've also committed to freezing fare prices on routes that they have shared with Spirit Airlines. And Frontier is offering a 50% off base fares across the network until May 10th.
The disappearing company calls this an orderly wind down of operations. Newark and LaGuardia both had Spirit service.
It was a trip to pick up her late brother's belongings. Jessica, that is.
Spirit knew that they were bankrupt and waited till 4 o'clock in the morning to email us saying our flights are canceled.
She's with her friend LaKendra. This trip, a financial and emotional strain.
Didn't get no refund back. We had to come up with money we didn't have because we're stuck in New York, literally stuck.
I overdraft my bank account so we can get our tickets to go back home.
Now, LaKendra, feeling betrayed, says it was business as usual when she last checked in with the airline.
I spoke to Spirit last night to change our flight to go back home, and they actually took the payment.
Now, like so many other flyers, they paid the fee, and they're not going anywhere. Amanda Alexander, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM at Terminal A.
Secretary Duffy blames the Biden administration for blocking a planned merge of JetBlue and Spirit, saying this is the end result. Democrats in Congress who opposed the merger said it would have led to fewer flights and higher fares. In the Bronx, the NYPD is searching for a suspect after a stabbing at a train station. Investigators say it happened yesterday afternoon. The southbound 6 platform at the Longwood Avenue station. Cops say a man, 50, got into a dispute with another individual who then pulled a knife and stabbed the victim in the left arm before scurrying off. The victim's expected to recover. Crime Stoppers is looking for info. Their number is 800-577-TIPS. A man is dead after a wild crash on Staten Island. Cops say the driver of the Chevy Tahoe lost control on South Gannon Avenue just before 6:30 this morning, slamming into a Lincoln Navigator that was parked, then flipping onto its side. The impact sent the Lincoln onto the sidewalk and into a stone fence. The driver of the Tahoe pronounced dead at the scene. No other injuries were reported. The victim's identity has not yet been released, and the investigation continues. More information about the fatal double stabbing of 2 women yesterday in Nassau County. Investigators have now identified the suspect. Here's Lieutenant George D'Arienzo.
The individual arrested, his name is Rory Alvaranga. He's being charged this morning with murder 1, 2 counts of murder 2nd degree at First District Court.
Investigators say he stabbed a coworker outside of Wendy's in Island Park just after midnight Friday. And hours after that, cops went to his home in Valley Stream. They found his roommate dead from several stab wounds. Investigators believe she was killed Thursday night around 9. Cops also say Alvarenga called 911 telling them he had killed someone. He was then arrested outside a 7-Eleven in Lynbrook. A motive's not yet known. Alex Zanardi, the former race car driver who became a Paralympic champion after losing both legs in a crash, died last night. He was 59. Zanardi won 2 championships in the U.S. in the late 1990s. It was a racing crash in Germany back in 2001 that took both of his legs. He learned to walk again with prosthetics, reinventing himself as a world-class hand cyclist. He won that division of the New York City Marathon in 2011, later earning 4 Paralympic gold medals. But another serious accident in Italy caused Zanardi severe head injuries in 2020. Formula One and Italian leaders are calling Zanardi an inspiration for his courage, determination, and spirit. Iran's armed forces say the U.S. has not committed to any agreements or treaties, and that it's likely the war with Israel against Iran will resume.
The United States is warning shipping companies that they could face sanctions if they pay Iran to safely pass through the Strait of Hormuz, where about 1/5 of the world's trade in oil and natural gas typically passes. The U.S. Office of Foreign Assets Control says those payments to Iran could include transfers in digital assets, offsets, or informal swaps. Iran effectively closed the strait by threatening and attacking ships after the U.S. and Israel launched a war February 28th. The U.S. responded with an April 13th naval blockade of Iranian ports. I'm Donna Warder.
More violence in the West Bank as a 14-year-old Palestinian boy is shot dead. NBC News obtained video of the attack on April 21st, which shows a man in an Israeli military uniform firing down a hill towards a school, also killing a 32-year-old man in that attack. The Israeli military says the shooter was a reservist soldier and is launching an investigation. The UN reports that Israeli settlers and forces have killed at least 42 Palestinians in the West Bank so far this year. Even if the way most people behave makes you sick, they are generally capable of opening the trunk of a car. Why do I say that? Find out. But first, WINS News Time 5:51. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Patty Bendina.
And we're going to start out in New Jersey. We have headaches on the Garden State Parkway northbound. Traffic is backed up north of the Columbia service area. That's in Woodbridge to north of exit 136 in Cranford. All the lanes are open, but that is about a 4-mile delay. So give yourself extra time through there. We have delays in Queens, the Cross Island southbound stop and go from Bayside Marina down towards the LIE. So go to Clearview. The Van Wyck solid both directions between the Belt and the Kew Gardens interchange. And then in Brooklyn, delays start on the BQE right around the LIE if you're heading westbound over past the Brooklyn Bridge. So big delay there. The Gowanus eastbound slows from Prospect to Atlantic. And then here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. The Brooklyn Bridge, very heavy into Brooklyn, so take the Manhattan Bridge around it. The George inbound, about 30 minutes at the upper, 20 to the lower. Cross Bronx delays start right around White Plains Road over towards the bridge. And then the Major Deegan along with the Harlem River Drive northbound, slow from right around the 145th Street Bridge up towards the Cross Bronx. Looking at 30 minutes in at the Lincoln, the Holland about 20 minutes in, but 10 minutes if you're heading out of town on the Lincoln or the Holland into New Jersey. And there's still heavy volume on the Outer Bridge crossing as you make your way into New York. Patty Bendina, 1010 WINS on 92.3 FM.
Now the AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Carl Erickson.
Well, aside from a few light showers or sprinkles over the eastern end of Long Island here this evening, and most of us stay dry tonight as that sky cover will continue to clear on out. going down to 45 for a low. Then back up to 61 tomorrow. Very similar temperatures as today, but expect more in the way of sunshine overhead. Then clear tomorrow night, back down to 48. And a nice warming trend begins on Monday. Lots of sunshine overhead with a high of 71. And even warmer on Tuesday with a partly sunny sky, high near 80. It does begin to cool off again as we go deeper into next week. Right now it is 59 and partly sunny, humidity 30%, winds north at 5 miles per hour. Repeating the current temperature 59, heading down to 45 in Midtown. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Carl Nixon on New York's weather station. 1010 winds on 92.3 FM.
If you feel like things in the tri-state area have become extremely bizarre over the past few years, they're even stranger in California. You got people beating up robots that are delivering food, and in the Bay Area, a man had to board his flight without his luggage after his robot taxi drove off with it.
Guy Jin says when his Waymo dropped him off at a terminal at San Jose's airport, he got out and pressed the button to open the car's trunk to collect his luggage. But the trunk didn't open, and the car took off. He called Waymo, but was told the car couldn't turn around in time for his flight. Waymo offered to ship his luggage to his destination, but said he would have to pay the shipping fees. He made the trip without any of his clothes or work materials.
Correspondent Michael Wallace. Yeah, I'll take a human over a mistake-ridden machine when it comes to my life and possessions. Don't know about you. Zoo officials are angry about bomb threats at several facilities across the country. The Phoenix Zoo reported a bomb threat around noon Friday, the same time as other zoos nationwide. Bert Castro is president and CEO of the Phoenix Zoo. He says guests and staff were evacuated safely.
It really became very chaotic here with a lot of people having to move a lot of pieces of the puzzle to get everybody in safe places.
No interest reported. Rarely seen works by the late artist Keith Haring, now on display in Manhattan. It's called Haring's House, featuring personal pieces that haven't been publicly shown in decades. The collection comes from Haring's lifelong best friend, Kermit Oswald, who grew up with the artist in Pennsylvania and later collaborated with him on sculptures and other projects. The exhibit includes one of only 6 known self-portraits painted on canvas, along with a hand-painted crib and children's furniture that Haring created for Oswald's family. And you can check out this exhibit. It runs through May 13th at the Brewer on 75th and Madison. Florida citrus growers are hopeful about this year's harvest forecast.
3 things have cut Florida citrus output by up to 95% in the last 25 years.
Citrus diseases, and then you've got development, and then disasters.
Disasters like hurricanes. And citrus grower Steve Crump says what's known as citrus greening has been devastating.
Greening eventually kills the tree, or it gets the production so low. As a farmer, you're done paying for trying to keep it alive.
Matt Joyner of the trade group Florida Citrus Mutual sees signs of a possible turnaround.
We've got growers that are putting trees in the ground. We've got quality improvements in terms of tree health and even orange size and sweetness.
Steve Cakin reporting there will likely be about 200,000 more boxes of oranges picked in this harvest than originally forecast. 59. We're going down to 45 tonight in Midtown. Now Bloomberg Money Watch.
It sounds pie in the sky, but that's no pie.
You put a satellite together, you put large compute chips on it, you put it in on a rocket, and you launch it to low Earth orbit.
That's Trevor Smith, CEO of composites company Atomic 6, talking about addressing the current insatiable appetite for AI data centers by putting laser speed data transmission centers in space. May sound crazy, but Smith says it's sensible.
We get free power and free cooling.
Power from solar energy, cooling because, well, space is cold. But data centers need maintenance. How do you maintain an orbiting data center? You don't.
These systems are designed to last 5 years, potentially 7 years, and then we will do what's called a deorbit.
That's when the device descends and burns up in the atmosphere. This whole space data center thing is not just in the idea phase right now. It's in the already pitching to companies and governments stage.
From the cost of today to launch, we're targeting no longer than 36 months from now.
As for cost, $500,000 to $3.5 million per month. I'm Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Money Watch, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
WINS FM and HD1 New York.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
More people get their news from 1010 wins than from any other radio station in the nation. Anthony Bosco is our service aide, Gary Souter at the editor's desk, and I'm Ashok Bala.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM, New York.
Good evening. It's 59 degrees at 6 o'clock. I'm Bud Mishkin. Here's what's happening.
He's being charged this morning with murder 1, 2 counts of murder second degree.
A 22-year-old Valley Stream man charged with 2 fatal stabbings. He's pleaded not guilty. Spirit Airlines passengers scrambling for flights and refunds after the airline went belly up overnight. A debate at Cornell over the war in Gaza has now turned into a debate over whether the university president then hit some students with his car or were the students harassing and intimidating the president. A steel beam from the World Trade Center. It begins a nationwide tour. And it's the first Saturday in May, Kentucky Derby time. The horses I had in previous derbies now work in Central Park. Oh, well. Sports. The Yankees beat the Orioles in the Bronx. The Mets are in L.A. to play the Angels. AccuWeather. A little evening rain and sprinkles over mainly eastern Long Island from a coastal storm. Otherwise, a clearing sky and a low of 45. Wednesday news time, 6:01. Let's get you where you need to go, and to do so, we check it out with Patty Bendina.
Well, here's what you need to know about the bridges and the tunnels. The Brooklyn Bridge still very busy into Brooklyn, so take the Manhattan Bridge. The George inbound, 25 minutes both levels. Cross Bronx delays start right around White Plains Road as you make your way over towards the bridge. And we're seeing delays now about 30 minutes as you make your way into the city from the Lincoln Tunnel, 10 out. And the Holland Tunnel is about 20 minutes in. Very heavy delays on 139 through Jersey City, but just about 10 minutes out. The Goethals Bridge eastbound still slow. Should make your way onto the Staten Island Expressway right around Richmond Ave. And then in Brooklyn on the Belt Parkway eastbound, you're solid from Flatbush Avenue over to Rockaway Parkway. That's right by Canarsie Park. And if you're heading out of the Bronx, the Hutchinson River Parkway southbound, very heavy from Middletown Road onto the Whitestone Bridge. So take the Throg's Neck. Patty Bendina, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.